This is day 4, Monday, second week. Great progress. So, as I said before, that white line over there, right there, is my property line. And they can't go in the States right away. So what they're going to do is they're going to build this wall like this, make a hard right angle, and then slope down to there. And the rest of that will be totally flat for parking. It used to be that the wall started right here and went straight out that way. So that was our parking area before, just that one area there. Now they've moved it over here. But as you can see now, we can, hi Matilda, you can pull in and we'll be able to pull in here and park. So we'll have 3 parking spots for cars versus 2 before. And of course, because that hill is gone, we can now pull straight into the house. So what do you think? Well, I'm not gonna pick you up yet. Let me fix your pants though. You're probably getting cold. It's below freezing out. Come on over here, Matilda. And so this got built up today. Hey, let's go check out up here. This is obviously gonna get paved in. But all this gets filled in. And before, the wall was back there. So it's because of the extra 6 inches of space. You got it, kiddo. They're gonna fill all this in with dirt, and then the pavers are gonna go right to the Redi-Rock and then go all the way over and then back. So, and then we've talked about putting the propane tank right, not in here, but like on top of this thing, and then boxing it in with stone veneer. They did hit some rock today, as you can see. Now, stay over here with me, okay? Don't go too far. You can come over here. They did hit some rock today, as you can see. Yeah, see a rock? You want to throw it into the hole, Matilda? Go ahead, throw it in. They did hit some rock today. They dug down about, looks like about a foot. Good job. They dug down about a foot from where they were before, 2 feet actually. They gave me 2 feet. So they're at the bottom of the foundation now, which is awesome. They want to do down a little bit more so they could give me an extra foot there. They got all the way back to the very back. They did hit a lot of rock back there, but they are pretty much, I mean, I would call it 90% done with the dig. Yeah, that's what she told me. But they're hammering it though. Yes. Stairs. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. So we decided. Me and my contractors decided from this area here, we'll have a 4-foot landing right here, a 4-foot platform, and then we'll have steps going down that way, and then steps going down this way. That way, because the pavers are going to basically run alongside the house, and so having this area here, so we don't have this step going down there, would just be a better use of our savings. But they're preparing to start digging up the back of that. Go check out the wall. They're breaking all this up. Luckily, it's all kind of splitting up like shale. But as you can see how high this is, I gotta go widescreen. How high this is. Look at this. It's really high. Not a full 2 weeks. They started last Wednesday, but it's looking really good. I'm really impressed with what they've been able to do here. I'm gonna talk to the guy this morning and get an update.
This has to get cut down, slope down to it. In doing so, that stuff will come out and this grade will get brought down.
Okay. Dig up the yard now. They're gonna drop us down 6 inches to a foot back there. And that's nice. Get all that crap out of there. It's all moss. It was all mossy because of the trees were blocking the light anyway. The same guy's working on, well, here's a fun fact. My builder built that place 2 years ago. And the same guys that are working on my place are doing hardscape driveway there for them. They're doing double duty today. They dropped a tree over there where that Subaru is parked last week, and now they're doing the hardscape, which is a nice improvement over what it was before, which was just basically dirt. But it's our week 2 update. So here we are, week 2. Still doing the exterior, which is fine. Rock wall was finished 2 days ago. As you can see, we have this nice slope. My property boundary is right there, that white line of property boundary, so we can't go past that line. But they're gonna slope it down to the mailbox with grade there. And then this area here will get cleaned up and flattened out. So we can't make our driveway wider. So it's already grandfathered into being like 20 feet wide when it's supposed to only be like 16 feet wide. But we will pave from here over to where the rock wall ends. So that'll be all pavement over there. We're also gonna get a new mailbox. But right now, we're done digging for the foundation and are laying gravel. So, as you know, there was a room over here. They wanted to give me a minimum of 9-foot ceilings, and we hit that, which is great. So they've dug down here. You can see our footings for the concrete foundation that used to exist. This foundation is actually only 20 years old. The house used to sit on this house used to sit on dirt, and they lifted this up in 2005 and poured this foundation. And now we're cutting that away. Obviously, the door will go there. They dug down about 3 feet below the foundation, and so now we're able to get a ceiling height. So all this pavement here will come up, and they're going to dig down. These are super nice. I wanted that in my last video. But first delivery of gravel came in. They're going to deliver like 6 or 7 loads of this. Get all the way back there. You can see my driveway my backyard is now totally sloped. The reason for that is they have to slope it so that just natural erosion doesn't pile into the wood, which is going to start right there. So it'll be wood that goes all the way across. They're going to do a 10-foot high pour on the back with 10-inch thick walls all around. And this, when it's done, is going to be 4 feet from my neighbor's fence. So here we are in my new garage. I mean, I guess I can put the dirt bike in here. Sorry. Yeah, so it's crazy. I really wish we could have dug over here. It just would have been really, really, really expensive. Like an extra 5 days of site work. But we've hit a lot of rock here. It keeps getting, hit. This is as far back as we can go. It keeps shaling off, which is kind of nice. I mean, you kind of keeps, shaling off there. But this is my clump of maples that was right there, growing out of the ground. So obviously, we're pretty deep now. So we're going to drop down here. All this is going to be, we're just going to do 6-inch pour on the bottom, then 10-inch on the sides. I'm not going to put a 2-post lift in there. I can't. There's no height availability to do that. But then, of course, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're going to put the the forms in here and rebar in here, and then I think the Friday is they're aiming to do a pour is on Friday.
It's probably a gallon. You're probably right. I'll go with a gallon.
So as you can see, all this is ready for pavers. What they're going to do is they're going to cut off these metal hooks here and then run pavers. We're doing Champlain gray, which is a reddish gray pavers from here all the way out there. And then the same pavers are going to run here. This is where we'll put the propane tank. We'll then close the propane tank, and then pavers obviously run all the way around there. The plan as it stands now is to have a platform coming off our door and then have stairs go down this way, because pavers are going to be running here. We don't want to have stairs over this expensive paver work. And then here is where the grill will go. We'll have a little kitchen here with like a griddle combo with some cabinets or something with a propane line that runs to the propane tank. This is not a real window anymore, so we're going to cover this all. We're planning on actually from here covering all this with stone veneer all the way around the front of the house. They're going to have the fence. So the fence is going to be pretty cool actually. They're going to do some posts right in here. They're going to dig some post holes every 4 to 6 feet and then do stainless steel decorative wire around the whole thing for safety that way. And then fence will stop here, and they're going to, well actually, sorry, here, and they're going to have the fence go out to there, and this is going to become a fence just like that one, just like that. That's what the fence will look like. And so that fence is going to be from here all the way back to the back of the property. It's going to follow the silt fence to the very back. We've asked them if we could, sorry, I'm zooming out here. We've asked them if they could maybe bring that fence down the hill a little bit. Our property line is way back there, and there's our other anchor is right there, the yellow line right there. Can you see it? There it is. So I've asked them if they can try to, cut back towards where the property line is. They're gonna do as much as they can. I want to fence in the entire property line. They're gonna do as much as they can to give me that without, this is gonna be difficult. But I do want to turn this into some flower beds. And they want to drop a couple more trees back here in the way too. And they're going to create a really smooth grade up to the back of the hill. Remember, taking a foot off this back there. And so it'll be a nice smooth grade up this hill. But they're going to edge it where this is smooth. That stays pretty much the way it was over there. As you can see from this angle though, a much better angle, they had to arc this part back because of erosion. They don't want to have dirt coming over time, dirt and runoff going into the wood that'll be where our bathroom is. So they have to, basically the bathroom's right there, so they have to do some finessing there. But as you can see, he's already cut this back quite a bit. See how much dirt we have in here? So they're going to take, a foot off the backyard. But when they're done from this point, it's going to be completely flat. There'll be none of this waviness that we've had all these years in the yard. It'll be completely flat. A couple things we talked about. So my property line is right down there, right there. And so obviously because of Department of Environmental Services, this is a seasonal creek that feeds into the lake. And so we can't really get close to it. We have to stay pretty far back. So this natural runoff here, it has to stay that way. My neighbor has a drain right there. They're going to extend that drain to here. Then, because my property line basically follows that, they're going to dig all this stuff out and they're going to make this all totally flat. So basically from this pile of wood back to the drain, and then these are all my trees back to my property line, which is in back there at the very back of that fence is my property line. They're going to basically flatten all this out. They could drop these trees. I told them to give me a price, but for now, the scope is just, if I stand here on my line, the scope is just to lob off all these branches that are weak and dying, just to make it a little bit cleaned up back here. I wish, frankly, going back in time, I wish we would have done is put in scope, dropping all these trees, and then putting a retaining wall back here as well at my property line, because that hill is mine. So retaining that hill over doing a fence would have been way nicer, because erosion's happening, but it is what it is. We didn't include it. It would have been an extra like 25 grand, and we didn't talk about it. I said fence this area, and they said okay. So as you can see how this kind of swoops, we're gonna make this a nice clean cut right down there, and then lob off those trees. And then of course we'll have that style fence I showed you guys before that'll run the whole perimeter of the backyard here. So everything will be completely organized. So that's the week 2 update. I'm gonna take you over here so you can see this before we wrap it up. But you see there's my property line right at her post. This is her fence, but that's my property line right there. That's my stake. And there's a piece of wood, there's a stake behind it. So if you stand there, if I stand here, you'll see all those trees are basically mine, except for like 1 or 2 of those that are leaning back towards her property. And so we would have dug flat here and put a wall, not as decorative wall there, which would have just enclosed this whole area and then dropped all these trees. But we're talking some serious money, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, you know, still going to be a great improvement. And try to fall in this hole. But there's your final scope picture. It's going to look way different in a week. There goes the maple.